Okay, good afternoon. This is Terry Wisdom coming to you live on Harlem Network News. Today on this Resurrection Day, on this Easter Sunday, we are coming to you in prayer. We're coming to you in prayer because here in our Harlem community and the Harlems of the world, we have been hit disproportionately with the COVID-19 virus. So we are here to pray as a nation for our community, the Harlems of the world, and the entire world. Some of the things that are happening is some of our people, and it is mainly our people, people of color, that are dying. They are not receiving proper burial. There is talk about putting them in mass graves in Pottersfield, and that is unacceptable. We are praying that that will not happen. We demand that that will not happen, and that they be memorialized properly like any other people who have been stricken in war, be it a 911 or on the battlefields of Iraq. So today, we are coming to you with some of the icons of our community. There are people that are still joining the meeting, but I think it's appropriate. We have Dr. Michelle Alexander with us, and I think that we can start with her. Dr. Alexander is one of our foremost physicians here in the Harlem area. She's also very involved. She's a cultural icon here in the community as well. And she is the former director of medicine for Con Edison, as well as the former vice president of medicine for New York City Transit. So she brings much knowledge and much experience on pandemic situations. Dr. Michelle, if we can unmute you, I see you. Can you take out your,
yes, see. I got it.
Okay, Dr. Michelle.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so just wanted to talk a little bit, I guess, about COVID-19, which is, as everyone knows now, is caused by the coronavirus. And the coronavirus became known to us in 2019, approximately, they say in December, late November, in Wuhan, China. It was the Chinese government appears to have been pretty swift in their actions in terms of controlling the virus, if we can believe the data that is coming out of China. In that they closed off the province of Wuhan, China, and basically started the physical distancing of people very, very early on, much unlike what happened here. And as a result, their numbers do not come anywhere near ours, which the US is now showing numbers that, in terms of deaths, that far exceed in anywhere else in the world. It has now surpassed that of Italy and is still climbing. As you've already stated, it has disproportionately affected the Black community. In some cases, for instance, in I think Louisiana, where Louisiana's Black population makes up about 30%, 70% of the deaths are among people that look like us. And here in New York, the numbers are, I think, are close to 30, 35%. And we make up, about 13 or 14% of the population. So we have been hit very, very hard. Some of it, I think, is, well, it's demonstrating the disproportionate or the health disparities that are present in our community, specifically that our community fails to have adequate healthcare access. We get basically the last of the healthcare, and we don't get very good healthcare. And so in addition to that, we have disproportionate numbers when it comes to basically all of the health problems such as diabetes, asthma, and hypertension, obesity. So those are the underlying medical conditions that make death more likely and make the illness more severe. And therefore, what we're seeing is a direct outcome of that. And racism is largely to account for what we're seeing in terms of these numbers, because of the disproportionate numbers of health conditions that Black people have. You know, asthma, for instance, is closely associated with environmental toxins, squalid or health home conditions that are not most optimal. You know, roaches, rats, those type of things increases your chances of having asthma. Exposure to diesel fumes. So the fact that we are redlined into certain districts increases the likelihood that we will have asthma at the proportions that we have. When you look at diabetes, the fact that many Black communities do not have adequate access to good food, meaning plant-based diet, those diets that are low in fats and preservatives, not the fast foods and stuff like that. And because of just, the kind of lives that we live, we tend to be at the bottom scale socioeconomically. So we get the cheapest thing. And therefore, and as you know, eating healthy is sometimes very expensive. So all of these things are contributors to what we're seeing in terms of the numbers. And Terry, as you pointed out, we're very concerned about what is happening in terms of what is happening to those that are dead or dying. We're concerned about what's happening in the prisons. If you look at the prisons, there's very, very close conditions, and we need to actually look at that because we know that our brothers and sisters in the prisons are dying. I was online and I saw a number of, there's a number of evidence that they may be even doing mass burials at the prison. So there's a lot of things that we need to do at this time.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Michelle. That is very, very important information. And while I have you on the line, if you can just share with the community, share with the nations, share with the world, some of the precautions and what people can do to protect themselves from a medical standpoint and to keep their immune system and all of those things good. And, we'll take it from there, and just some of the signs that they should watch for. So we want to take advantage and hear from our doctors, because we know that our people trust our doctors. So you're hearing it from Dr. Michelle, who is here from Harlem. You can trust what she says.
So the first thing I'm going to say is, I stay in prayer. I think that prayer is absolutely part of the prescription for good health. So I use prayer every day to maintain my health. And I don't think that I could do anything without God and Jesus in my life. So I'm going to say that's my first, but not my only, because, faith without works is dead. So the second thing is physical distancing. And when I say physical distancing, if you are not a family member or loved one that lives in your home, you should not be within 6 feet of anyone that is not in your home. That is critical. We are now, we have learned that it is not only coughing and sneezing that can transmit the virus, but speaking, because when I speak, little droplets of fluid, the saliva leaves my mouth. And if I was infected with the virus would be in those droplets, and those droplets can spread pretty far. Those droplets from just my speaking can spread, anywhere from 3 to 6 feet away, just from speaking. So it's very clear that you need to maintain a physical distance from anyone. So that's the most important thing in terms of maintaining the likelihood that you don't get infected. Then there are some other things that I recommend. So one of the things I would recommend is that you maintain a healthy diet. A healthy diet is critical to staying well, regardless of a virus or not. And a healthy diet is a mainly plant-based diet. For some people, that could mean a totally plant-based diet, which a lot of doctors may not recommend. I actually think that it's probably it is the way that we, I think about this in terms of Africa. If you look at long ago, when we were in a village, we were a village of plant-based people. We ate plants and fruits and vegetables. And when we hunted game, that game was hunted after a long period. So the hunters would go out, spend a long time hunting, bring back the meat source to us, and then it would be shared among many. So it wasn't like you ate a lot of meat at any time. And then you went back to the plants and the fruits and vegetables that you ordinarily ate. So it is quite necessary to eat a largely plant-based diet. The other thing that I would recommend is, of course, stay away from preservatives and fast foods or foods you don't know how they're being prepared. Greasy, fatty foods, of course, are not part of what you should be eating. So one of the things I've been recommending is a diet that is high in vitamin C. And you can get vitamin C naturally through many of the fruits and vegetables that we eat. Lemons, oranges, the citrus foods. A lot of our green foods have vitamin C. And vitamin C has the ability to actually kill viruses. It helps the killer cells kill the virus. So if you have a diet that is high in plant proteins and high in vitamin C, that is a good way of warding off the virus. Water, of course, is key to nourishing your body. Getting plenty of sleep is also key to nourishing your body. I encourage people to make sure, especially now since we're home, most of us, is to make sure that you're getting adequate amount of sleep. An adequate amount of sleep, according to all sciences, anywhere from 7 to 9 hours per night, which I generally try to attempt to do, although I'm not best at that one. The other thing that is being recommended is to alkalinize your system, because this particular virus, the coronavirus, does not do well in an alkaline environment. So if you eat foods that are high in and that have a high alkaline content, you like avocados, the citrus fruits that I spoke about. These are the kind of things, and I'll go back and actually read you a list later on. But these are the kind of things that will help ward off the virus. And finally, the other thing that I will say is that a lot of people are reporting that steaming, and that's something that they were doing in China and Japan and South Korea. And also, this is something that comes from Africa anyway, in terms of literally steaming the virus out of your body using a large pot of water over the stove. You get it to a boil where it's now steaming. You put some lemon or lime in the water with some salt to make it a saline. You can even put some ginger or eucalyptus or whatever essential oils you want. And you literally steam your nose, your mouth, and your lungs by breathing in deeply for about 15 minutes. A lot of people do that in terms of a sauna, is the same thing. It has a very beneficial effect in terms of killing viruses that are heat sensitive. And apparently this virus is that. So those are some of the things that I would advise.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Michelle. That's very, very important. It's very, very critical to what is happening in the world. And I'm just coming back to you. I want to just let people know that this is Harlem Network News, and we are a new platform here in Harlem. And I'm Terry Wisdom. And I wish everyone a happy Easter, a happy Resurrection Day. Harlem Network News has been a thought for a while, but with the advent of the COVID-19, we found it necessary to spring into action and get our Harlem Network News on the air. We are live on Facebook. You can check us out on our website. You can check us out on Instagram. We want you to spread this, let this go viral to the world because it has become a world. And our technician is part of that big world. He's out there, and it's a blessing. Thank you, Sonny. Without further ado, and thank you, Dr. Michelle, I'm hoping everyone took notes. But if you didn't, obviously you can come on back and look at it again. We're going to have it up on Facebook Live. So without further ado, we're going to go to our prayer section. And I'm going to go ladies first. I have Reverend Rhonda McLean Noor on the line. I also have Iman Youssef Hassan on the line. These are all of our Harlem prayer warriors that are coming in. So we're going to go to Reverend Rhonda for prayer, and then we will be going to Imam Youssef Hassan. So Reverend Rhonda, and I just want to share and ask for the prayers of all of those who have lost their lives, all of those that are fighting for their lives, and all of those that are protecting their self, so that they don't become ill. And I just want to give a special blessing to our Harlem icon and leader from Mosque number 7, and that is Brother Minister Brother Minister Hafiz Muhammad. Okay, so we just want to pay homage to him. We lost him yesterday. So we will go right into prayer with Reverend Rhonda Akanke McLean. Thank you.
Greetings all.
Greetings.
I want to give thanks for Harlem Network News and for all those that are in Terry Wisdom and all those who are with us today on this live stream and on this Easter Resurrection Sunday. Whatever you pray to, believe in, whatever helps to make you a better person, I'd like you to go to that space right now, to that sacred space that you find when you need to go higher outside of this regular realm and this regular reality. Father God, Creator, all the names that you are called by, Oludamare, Allah, Buddha, in the name of Jesus, in the name of everything that has been and will be, we come to you today and ask that you put a special bond of protection, a hedge around all those that are suffering from this virus today. That those that are suffering right now in their homes and the hospitals, wherever they are, that you touch them right now, that you heal them right now, that we do not continue to lose on a consistent basis those who are suffering from the virus, that they are blessed and healed. We thank you for our lives today, for our breaths, for our arms and legs and our hands, that we're able to be creative and think outside the box and think of ways to communicate and connect. We thank you today for our lives and for being able to pray for somebody else. We ask you to bless those who have lost loved ones in a split second, with the blink of an eye. We ask you to bless them and protect them who were not able to go into the hospitals with their loved ones or be there when they transition. We ask you to put a special blessing around the doctors and the nurses and the custodians and engineers and technicians and all those people who prepare food for those in the hospitals right now. We ask that you help continue to give them clear minds and hearts so that they can continue to do your work to help save the lives of those who are vulnerable and weak. We ask that you touch our children right now, particularly in our Harlem community, but all across the world, who are having to live a reality that none of us have ever experienced before. They're having to learn by computers and other kinds of devices that are not close to them, were able to touch and feel the heartbeat of each other, of their teachers, of their classmates. We're asking that you touch those children right now, and that as we go through this time, that they learn to talk to you and be with you and have some sort of comfort in knowing that it'll be all right in the by and by. Even though us that are adults know that and have experienced that and know that we have been taken from where we were to where we are through your blessings and your grace. Many of our people, many of the world are still reeling with depression and confusion and fear. And we're asking you to take away the fear right now and help us to live fully in who we are and whose we are right now. We're asking you to go in those places where people are not able to get to food and water and to connect online, where the people are remote and more remote than we could ever imagine. We're asking you to go into those homes and into those places right now and touch their hearts and minds. We're asking that you bless the truck drivers that are taking the food and the supplies and the pilots that are flying the planes to places to help curb this illness, this dis-ease. We say today that we claim a victory over fear, over hatred, over inequity, over lack, over loneliness, over poverty. We are claiming victory to walk in a new way today on this Easter Sunday, as we have learned that Jesus the Christ transformed into something greater and more on this day when he rose again. We thank you, God, for all of our ancestors who went through far more than we could ever imagine, even though this pandemic is serious and it's unbelievable. We have ancestors that walked through some storms and some hoses and some lashes and some organs cut out of their bodies and lynched. We know that because of their faith and their connectedness, that we can go through this as long as we are unified, organized, and continue to believe and have faith and hope and in life. As long as we are breathing, we have another opportunity to create and to do better for ourselves, our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. Thank you, God. Thank you for our children. Thank you for our grandchildren. Bless them that they come out of this and have new ways of thinking as they will lead us into the future. Let them be inventors and lawyers and doctors that will think in new ways and give us a future that is forever lasting. everlasting. Thank you, God. These are all blessings we ask and give thanks for. Our peace, amen. Ashe.
Ashe.
Ashe, ashe, oh.
Ashe.
Ashe. I thank you, Reverend Rhonda, for the prayers. And we know that when two or more stand together in prayer, it is done. For those of you that are watching from other places or that you just came in, I am Terry Wisdom, and I am reporting to you live on Facebook from Harlem Network News, and we are Harlem based. A lot of the icons and, you know, people from Harlem are here on the line with us, and we just want to let you know what we're dealing with here in Harlem. Most of us are holed up in our homes. We are sheltering in place. If we go outside, we're putting on our mask, we're double gloving, we're wiping down our stuff. We are doing everything we can to stay alive. We are nourishing our bodies. We are communicating with each other because it is a germ warfare here in Harlem. Many of our people are dying. Many of our people are sick. We are calling out to the entire world, firstly, to pray and to come to do whatever it is that you can do. We are making sure that our people are getting food, our seniors are being delivered food, because this is a war zone here, and we've got to take care of it. I see that many of our other icons have joined us, but I am going to keep a flow. I am going to go next to the Imam so that he can give us that prayer. And Imam, without further ado.
Thank you very much. My name is Yusef Hassan, and I'm a member of Malcolm Shabazz Masjid under the leadership of Imam Ezekiel Bouyid Pasha. And I'm honored today to make a little blessing for our community in this wonderful forum. As we always begin with God's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. All praise belongs to God, Allah, Lord of all systems of knowledge, merciful benefactor, merciful redeemer, the sole judge on the day of judgment. We worship you only, and we turn to you begging assistance. Guide us on a straight way, the way of those whom you bestow on your blessings, not those who incur your wrath, not those who go astray. It is said in the Holy Quran in chapter 2, verse 177, it is not righteousness that you turn your faces toward the east or the west, but it is righteousness to believe in God and the last day and the angels and the books and the messengers, and to spend out of your substance for the love of him, for your kin, for the orphans, for the needy, for the wayfarers, and for those who ask, and for the ransom of slaves, to be steadfast in prayer and practice regular charity, and to fulfill the contracts which you have made, and to be firm and patient in pain or suffering and adversity, and throughout all periods of panic. Such are the people of truth, the God-fearing. Dear God, give us that which is good in this life and that which is good in the next life, and save us from the torment of the fire, because there are nothing and no one that can help and save us except you. We humbly come today. First, we thank you for life. Now we ask that you bless each and every one of us going through the suffering of our communities. Bless those who are sick, those who are confused, those who are out of doors. Bless the elderly. Bless our young. And oh Allah, we ask you today to bless those healthcare workers on the front lines of this battle for life. Protect them, protect their families, and bless our leaders to make right decisions for our peoples, because this is our home. Bless us to be successful in this battle for life. And I know you say to all of us in the Quran and all of human beings on earth, the believers shall be victorious. Keep the faith, do the best we can to protect each other, and may God bless us to be successful. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you very much for Imam. Very significant prayer. And as you can see, if you're watching from any point in the world, that Harlem is standing strong. We're under siege, but we are coming together. We are standing together in prayer, and we are helping one another because we are a village. We are a great village. And as it was mentioned, that many of our ancestors have come across the Middle Passage. So in our DNA, we have that strength. We just have to pull down deep. This is a lot, but it's always been a lot. We've been in 400 years of pandemic and some. So without further ado, I'm going to go to Baba Tunde, Baba John, who is also priest, drummer. He is the resident drummer from the famous group. And that is the original Last Poets. And I did speak to our original Last Poet, Dune, Abi O'Doon today, and he will join us at another time, but he is really taking this time to self-reflect. He is writing, he is painting, and has actually written something called Resurrection. So it's very significant that on this Resurrection Day, we're coming together in prayer to resurrect. Baba John?
Hey, Alafia, everyone. How's everybody feeling?
Alafia.
Good.
The Odo Ogunda Rosun talks about new beginnings and new time, and coming out of difficulties into good fortune. So we look at that, and we look at where we are now, and we have to think about what this new beginning is all about. What does it mean to us? Because everything's going to change. And even if things go back to normal, the way we think normal would be, there'll still be a change psychologically because people will be on end because no one's ever experienced something like this. So we have to be prepared for that. And not be, just to, and to relax. I think, again, people have come to this virus alive, and it's not a death sentence for a lot of people. And hopefully not for anyone else that we know. But we have to keep our health in shape, keep our immune system in shape so that we can fight this war that's happening within our bodies. So we win this battle, which, Ogunda Rosun talks about that. And Ogunda always talks about war. So Rosun talks about the beginning of new things. So we're talking about beating the battle. So this is not the end of life or the extinction of life, but this is the beginning, a new beginning that we have to take on. We have to start preparing ourselves for, financially, as well as, physiology, for our physical self, our mental self. And how do we relate to each other? How are we going to relate to each other through this medium? Because this is going to be with us for a little while. So we have to be in a different state of mind. So I give thanks to the ancestors that bring us here, bring us together. That's still with us and will be with us. And we're passing on our information to the youngsters. They need to be aware, and they have to be comforted because many of them are not. They know about the social media, they're pretty much on it, but in terms of using it to their best advantage, not to their disadvantage, that's where we are now. And many of them have used it for their disadvantage, And we hope and pray that they become aware, they have opened their eyes to what the damage that they do to themselves on this media. So we have to stay together, stay strong. Harlem is happening. How Harlem is you know, I don't see a lot of people out in the street as before. A lot of youngsters were out there, you know, and this is playtime and this is a vacation, but this is war, and we have to take a whole different course of action and be prepared for this future. That, I mean, more than anything else is just to meditate on it, to think about what and where we are, who are we becoming in this new future. So it's going to change a lot of dynamics. Try to think progressively, so you're not to be behind. To try to think out of the box, so that we can keep going forward. And then basically, prayers and blessings to everyone who's here and everyone who's listening and everyone who's around and then to our communities. And that's all I have to say at this moment.
Okay, thank you, Baba Tunde. Thank you, Baba Don. He has shared words of wisdom from a spiritual place of being a Yoruba priest, as well as a drumming instructor. He is also an educator.
I go. Okay.
Yes.
Let me just say, I didn't say the translation. The curse is over, I am happy. I was poor, now I am rich. The curse is over, I am happy. I am single, now I am married. The curse is over, I am happy. I never had a child, now I have children. The curse is over, I am happy. I was disabled, now I'm cured. This is the text, this is the translation of the text of Ogunda Rosun, which I happened to pull open, and voila. So this particular book has been very important to me because it just talks to me all the time, and it happens to talk about the ending of a curse, which is where we are right now. So this is to look forward to something to be inspired, but to also hold steadfast to your own health and your direction, so that you can be a part of the new equation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And we are in a world, there was always talk about a brave new world and, you know, the new world and all of that. We are here, but we must take that and be advantageous. As you said, our young people with social media, now is the time, they are the leaders in social media, but it's a time that they need to use it productively. It is also a time that we as parents and grandparents and elders must guide them, because it is confusing to us. It is more confusing to them. And it is a time where everyone is having to get in touch with self. Once again, this is Harlem Network News, and I am Terry Wisdom. I'm reporting to you live from Harlem, and most of our participants are here in Harlem. So world, just want to let you know, Harlem is under siege, but we're standing strong, we're standing up, and we are well, and we are united. I am going to go to Minister Arthur Muhammad, just for time constraints, and we're going to get in some more prayer. Minister Arthur Muhammad, are you with us?
Yes, thank you, Sister Terry, and what a wonderful opportunity to talk to the beautiful people of Harlem Network News. It's great energy on the line, and thank you for having me. Just for point of introduction, I'm Brother Minister Arthur Muhammad. I'm the Assistant Minister of Mosque Number 7 in Harlem. So though I'm sheltering in place in money-earning Mount Vernon for the last 31 years, Mosque Number 7, if you remember, we were at the National Black Theater many years ago, but now, of course, we're on 127th Street. Sad to announce, if you haven't heard, that the man who I have assisted all of those years, Minister Abdul Hafiz Muhammad, has returned to Allah. So certainly our hearts are heavy and sad. And so I would like to make our contribution with a prayer. But before I go into the prayer, let me just state that Minister Hafiz was a champion for our people on the battlefield, dedicated soldier, represented the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan flawlessly, fighter, champion. He is throughout this country for his wonderful words of comfort during the time of the funerals and janazas and weddings, and always in the street, a minister's minister, a brother's brother, and he will certainly be missed. Long live the spirit of Minister Abdul Hafiz Muhammad, who in his last 3 years had been lifted to the ranks of regional minister, where he was over 18 mosques from as south as Trenton, New Jersey to as north as Canada.
Wow.
3 mosques in Canada in the Nation of Islam. So I'm going to miss my big brother. So please follow me silently as I make a prayer. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Oh Allah, we thank you for life. We thank you for health. We thank you for strength. We thank you for clarity of mind. Allow us to use our health, our strength, our clarity of mind to do your will. Allow us to be the examples of you. Allow us to be able to resist evil and temptation. We beseech your help and we ask your mercy, for we believe in you and trust in you for all that we need. We ask that you help us and suffice us with what is lawful. Keep us away from what is prohibited. And with your grace, make us free from want of everything that is besides thee. I offer this prayer in the name of all of the wonderful and righteous servants who have ever represented the Most High God. No matter what we call him, we know that he is one. Ameen.
Ameen. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, my brother. And it's an honor to meet you. It's an honor to have you here. And as most of Harlem, I knew Brother Hafiz Muhammad. I knew him for that same 30 years of time. Work with him on the World Day of Atonement, documenting, videoing. He supported us in the Million Women March. He was just amazing. And though he was the head of many, many things and a person of high stature, like you said, that brother was there on the street. And there's no day that I saw him, and if there was something I needed and I asked, it was given. He would give you his card, his cell number, you call the phone, he answered. He was definitely an icon for this community. He will be missed. And he has gone before us, but I know that he is there with Allah watching over us and assuring that our steps are steady. And for that, I am grateful. He embodies the love that we have here in our Harlem community, because we have it. We do. Yes. So thank you so much. This is Cherry Wisdom, and I'm coming to you live from Harlem Network News with many of the Harlem soldiers that are here to just give you comfort, to let you know that we're okay, to let you know that though they're bombing us every day with this COVID, we are fighting back. We are holed up in our homes like it was in Vietnam time, but we are standing strong, we're standing firm, and we are going to win. I want to come, I don't know if Sister Nali is, yes. I want to come to one of our warrior sisters. She is a nurse. She's on the front line. She's an OR nurse. She is an emergency room nurse. She's got 20, 30 years of experience, and she is going to share with us, and she has been communicating with us during this entire time. One night when she came off her shift, she even brought me some lime so I could make the 333 potion. That is something that can help the immune. So she's an angel and she's a warrior. With all she was doing, she stopped and brought it to me. And of course, she was doing the proper social distancing, mask, gloves, everything. So Sister Nali, let's hear from you. Thank you.
Good afternoon to everyone, all the distinguished guests. My heart goes out to I hope I say it right, Mohammed, and your leader, our brother that just passed. My prayers to his family, his church community, his friends, and my heart really goes out to everyone that's losing someone in this time. So very significant. Being in the hospital setting, I mentioned in past discussion the challenge that it is for families not to be able to visit their sick ones, the challenge for sick ones not to receive visitors, because culturally, anytime we have a sick, it's important to us to rally with them, pray with them, and just let them know that we care by coming to visit and bringing their favorite meals or gifts. So this is proving to be a challenging time, but as Baba said, out of this challenge, we're going to come out strong. Out of this challenge, we are going to be better people. It is my heart, my joy, if when this is over, not if, but when this is over, to see that we become better human beings for ourselves and for those that we know and don't know. I really hope that all this set aside time, because that's how I'm looking at it. It's a set aside time to get closer to God, get closer to yourself, get to know yourself, so you can fix some of those things that we need to fix. We can become more human towards each other, show more love. We hopefully have learned that all the things that we run down, the chase for clothes, for shoes, for hair, and all these other things don't really matter. That's what matters is that contact. What matters is that visit, that hello, that I love you, that we so much is learning that is so vital for each and every one of us. And the COVID end, I wanted to support, I think was Dr. Michelle. She was saying that we needed to be more alkaline. And I do have a list, if it's okay, Terry?
Absolutely. We want you to pass that knowledge on, because we want the people to know it's important. We're saving
if anyone is taking some notes, and these are some things that we use on a day-to-day, but just so we can know and pay attention to it and we can nourish ourselves and our body. So Kobe loves a 5.5 pH, which is an acidic pH. However, if we can make our body alkaline, it's anything above 7.5. So lime is a 9.8 pH. Avocado is the highest with a 15.6 pH. Garlic, 13.2 pH. Mango, 8.7 pH. Mandarin, 8.0 pH. Pineapple, 12.7. And orange, a 9.2. So if we can be conscious of those numbers for the things that we are ingesting, we can also help our body. And you know, I'm very high on boosting our immune and doing the things that are good for helping our body fight this. And many of these ingredients will help us add it to our salad or our snacking. Now that we're home, we are snacking more. So part of maybe keeping down our weight, we can use some of these fruits. So these are some of the things, you see them in the store, a lot of people not buying them. So as a community, we can make things better for ourselves and our bodies by adding some of these ingredients that are healthy for us. From the healthcare point, I continue to insist on our mask when we're outside, washing our hands, 2 happy birthdays, singing happy birthday twice, or 22nd is the CDC recommended hot water, soap on 22nd. You can also use hand sanitizers, but keep in mind after a couple of use, you need to wash your hands with soap and water. So for me, the best is still soap and water. Then the gloves, I encourage gloves when you have them, but be mindful if you're outside and touching everything with your gloves, you need to take them off properly, and you don't want to take them in your environment, the environment where you're quarantining, because then you're defeating the purpose. So find a way to remove the gloves from the inside, pushing your hand on the inside and pulling it off, so you don't contaminate yourself and so you don't take that into your environment. So these are simple things that we can do to help protect ourselves, our children, our community, our friends that we can share with. They don't add added expense, but I really want to encourage people to use the mask because they don't know 100%. 1 minute they're saying it's droplet, one other minute it's airborne. I believe we should protect for the airborne, which is the one that we can be more at risk for. So if you wear your mask, you should find, hopefully you're cutting down on that risk.
Okay, thank you, Nurse Nali. And we are just sending you lots of love and lots of energy, because for you to be able to sit here with us, and I know you've been on a little vacation this week, but tomorrow you're going back into that battleground of saving lives. And just the fact that you are so calm and so confident and so strong. And if you want to just quickly, because we're going to get to other people, but I will say that I know that Nurse Nali has shared that every day that she walks into that hospital to work, she gets herself, she's prayed up. Okay? Yes. So you want to share a little bit about that quick?
Absolutely. We cannot do that work without being covered. I do believe in the blood of Christ, but like the sister said before, whoever you call on, whoever is that higher person, reach up to them, call upon them for their protection. I ask that the blood of Christ be over me, my colleagues, and everyone that I'm going to become in contact with. I pray for my leaders so they make good decisions that's going to help everybody that's involved. And I love my Psalm 91. I live in Psalms 91 because once I declare that I accept God as my protector, he promises that he's going to send his angels to protect me and rescue me from situations, and that nothing that's around us is going to fall upon us. And I truly believe that. So it gives me that strength that I need to go and face. And I'm not going to kid you. You do get afraid. You do wonder, what if I catch it? I don't want to take it home. I don't want it to give it to my family. So you do have fears, and that's part of our humanness. But having that spirituality gives me the courage to say, okay, I can go back and do this one more day. I can go back and give that love message to my patient. Your daughter said she loves you. Your daughter wished she could be here, but since she can't be here, she said, and I give the message to let each and every patient that I'm involved with, whether they're my patient or other colleagues' patient, just so they know the community didn't abandon you. We are just faced with something we don't know how to deal with. And I share that with them. If they allow me, because everybody have a right to, and they ask me for prayer, I am brave enough to pray with them. So my spirituality carry me through this battle. I'm in the trenches, but if I didn't have my spirituality, I think I would have been broken sooner.
Blessings. Well, stay strong, and we're all sending you love and energy, and we are grateful. This is Cherry Wisdom coming to you live with all of the Harlem icons, warriors, and the strength of Harlem. I believe that we have a Sister Lois. Is Sister Lois still with us? Can we bring Sister Lois into the conversation? Can we unmute Sister Lois? Okay. Okay. Can we unmute Sister Lois? Yeah. One down. Lois. One down. Let's see. Okay. We're climbing over any technical problems, but I can. There is a Sister Jocelyn Lyles on the line. Is Sister Jocelyn or Sister Lois available? Okay. I also see, can we unmute Sister Jocelyn? Is possible? Okay. We're going to go to, once again, this is Harlem Network News, and I'm Terry Wisdom, and I'm coming to you live from Harlem. And we're letting the world know, and we're letting our families know, as people are watching us. They're watching in Costa Rica, where Sister Nali is from. They're watching us in Jamaica, where Dr. Michelle is from. I got family watching in Florida, my children, my grandchildren, I'm good. Y'all see me. They're watching us in California. They're watching us in Arizona. They're watching us in Amsterdam. They're watching us in Nigeria. And I'm going to come to Sister, and I'm calling her Chief Joyce Adewume. Miss Adewume, are you here with us?
Those these things, these are good. Did you suck on those things? Yeah.
Okay, Sister Adewume. Oh, who's here?
Yeah, both. I didn't see that on the yeah, but on the next thing.
Okay, is this Sister Lois speaking?
Yes.
Okay. How are you? We're going to defer, and we're going to go to Sister Lois, and I know that she's going to share just since we can't see you, Sister Lois, but we can hear you. Can you just let us know how you are and how things are and what you do, and just go ahead, Sister Lois. Thank you.
Well, Terry, you know, we go way back. It's my pleasure seeing you. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
I hope you didn't hear me screaming at my granddaughter.
Nah, but, it's okay. It's all good.
Right. I'm doing well. My family is doing well. Of course, I'm very reflective and very solemn because Minister Hafiz was not only a leader in the community, but he was also a personal friend to my family. He married my son and my daughter-in-law. He helped at my grandson's funeral. And not only that, he's just been a great leader in the community. He came to our school, the Learning Tree, and the parents and the children loved him. And I also thank Brother Arthur for getting online. You know, I have a lot of respect for him. He has also helped our school. And I think as a community, when things really bad happen, you are sad and, you know, but you have to say, what can we learn and benefit from whatever is sad? You can't just reflect on the sadness, but you have to look for the benefit and the lesson. And the nurse that spoke, she was wonderful, and she is so correct. We have to be very, very clean. We have to sanitize, and we have to watch what we eat, be very mindful of what we eat, be very prayerful. And I think Minister Hafiz left for us the idea of praying together, uniting together, helping each other, regardless of our different beliefs. We are a people that belong together. Many, many years ago, right there in Harlem, when the Muslim school was there on 116th Street, I think that was the tightest unity Harlem ever had. It was so wonderful walking through the streets of Harlem and seeing everybody call each other sister or brother, or having each other's back. And I think it's a time right now for us to really, really mean it when we say this is our community and we need to come together and pray together and be mindful together, eat right, don't splurge, don't be boastful, don't think that it can't happen to us. We all need to take this sign of someone so wonderful leaving us. He is leaving us to tell us something. So let's try to listen to some of his words. Let it bring us closer together. And again, thank you so much, Mr. Ruby. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Brother Arthur, and everyone else that spoke. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. And Sister Lois, just because I want to make sure that everyone is aware, this is Cherry Wisdom from Harlem Network News. And that was the voice of Sister Lois Gregory. She is the founder of the Learning Tree School in the Bronx, which is an independent, private Black school that has existed for over 30 years. It's an amazing school. Many great children have come from that school. As she mentioned, we've known each other over time from community events, from the Learning Tree, Mr. Ruby and his great relationship, and that is our CEO of Harlem Network News. Sister Lois, I mean, her school is amazing. It is in the Bronx. The children get the proper learning. They get the proper cultural training. They get the proper training for their manners. And most importantly, they receive love. Every year, Sister Lois, the senior group, when they graduate, they go to a trip to Africa, to Brazil. They have an amazing sense of cultural arts, and they are just happy, smart, wonderful children. And that is because of Sister Lois and her staff. So if you want to know more about a wonderful school for the children to go to, it's the Learning Tree. It's in the Bronx. And this is the director, Sister Lois Gregory. And Sister Lois, could you just share with us a little bit about how your students are doing with the online learning and just how the teachers and the community are surviving? If you could just share briefly with that, and then we'll get to our other participants.
Yes, our teachers are doing an amazing job. We're on Microsoft Teams. We see the students see us. The teachers are being very creative. The children are excited. And many of our parents are teachers. And I got such a wonderful comment when one who is a principal said to me, wow, the Learning Tree is even doing more than our school. And that just made me really happy to think we had to learn how to do this in 3 days. And we're doing well. So, you know, that's it. We're looking forward to the future and just continuing to work with the children online.
Okay, well, thank you, Sister Lois. And as you can see, there's a lot of resources here from every aspect of our community, spiritual, medical, education. And yes, our children, this is a critical time for them. And we will look to you, Sister Lois, to get some examples for some of the other schools, because some of the children are really struggling with the online learning, as are some of the teachers. So thank you very, very much, Sister Lois Gregory. And I am going to, this is Cherry Wisdom reporting for Harlem Network News. And we are here in Harlem. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. If you have further comments, you can email us at harlemnetworknews@gmail.com, or you can feel free to call us at 646-261-5397, because this is Harlem Network News, and we are a news platform to bring information to our people and to let the world know who and what we are. But there is also work that we are doing in terms of partnering with people to make sure that food gets to the seniors. One of the people that was going to be on the line who had an emergency is Richard Haversham, who is running for Congress, and he has been delivering 1,500 meals yesterday, and the few days before the Douglas Project. So we are looking to do things like that. We're going to be, you know, at a point looking for people who have resources, be those resources financial or in-kind services, because this is how we're going to have to help our community. We want to make sure everybody's being fed. We want to make sure everybody's being educated and that nobody is alone. We are alone together. I'm going to go to Sister Jocelyn Lyles now, and then I'm going to go to Sister Chief Joyce Adewume. Sister Lyles, Jocelyn Lyles, can we open your mic? Are you still here with us?
Good day. How is everyone?
Everyone, we're good. And we're better now that we're here. So if you can identify yourself and just let us know everything and please share with us. Thank you.
Well, I was invited on the call by Sister Lois. Didn't know what I was getting into.
Okay, that's Sister Lois.
Thanks, Sister Lois. Well, I actually work with Sister Lois, but I also I came to know Brother Minister Hafiz 27 years ago when I joined the mosque. And what I can say about him, he always had a smile and a good word for everyone that he met, at least with me. And from what I'm reading and hearing, he always had a good word for everyone. And he will sorely be missed.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's a blessing, and our heart goes out to his family, to Mosque number 7, and to the greater nation of Islam, because it is a great loss. He was known all. So what else would you like to share? If there's anything significant or a significant story about our brother Minister Hafiz Muhammad, we would love to hear that.
No, I think, honestly, I'm having a hard time with this, so I just want to leave it there.
Okay, okay, thank you, thank you. As are we all. We're broken up, but I think that Sister Lois's words are that we know that he left so that there are things that he can do and show in that example, and I think that we have to take that and the fact that there was leadership that he passed on as a baton, as an example. And so we must live that way. That's how we can honor him doing the work that he did, making sure that his work continues. That is critical. Okay, so thank you very, very much. Is Miss Adewume still on the call? Okay, I don't see. We had, and I call her Chief Joyce Adewume, and she is with the African Chorus of New York. It's a wonderful chorus, and she has just completed a film, okay, which is really called The Water, and it's an amazing film about her travels to Nigeria, and it, you know, just tells you everything about Nigeria, from spiritual, cultural, economic. It's a great film. And I know that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, her chorus is going to be doing something, and I'm sure that you'll be able to see the film online. And that's where we are. I believe that we are coming to the end of our Facebook Live. We have a great technician, Brother Sonny, who is coming to us from across the waters, and he's helping to make this happen, which shows you that this is a global world where we are all connecting. We are all brothers and sisters, and he's having an opportunity to see what Harlem looks like and who we are. And it's an amazing thing, and we're getting to see who he is and what he can do. So that's a great, great thing. I see that Brother Ernest 2X has come on the line, who's also from Mosque number 7. So Brother Ernest, if we can open up your mic and please share with us. Brother Ernest, are you there? Okay. Do we have Brother Ernest sound? Okay.
Sister Lois.
Yes, sir.
This is Yusef Hassan again. I just want to let you all know that I'm the chairman of the African American Day Parade in Harlem. And we still going to have our parade be the will of God to get our spirits back in the right places, to bring our community back to the level that we hopefully they get close to. But we want you to know that this is our community, and we must care for each other on every level.
Amen.
And it's been an honor to be here with you all and talk about how we can make this go forward and change the course of what we've been going through. A lot of our young men and women, especially our elderly, in the healthcare system right now. I work also as a chaplain in the major hospitals in this city.
Mm-hmm.
And I see how a lot of our brothers and sisters who are sick with this virus are not getting the proper care that they need. It's important that we as family members and as community, if we know that our loved ones are in this system, somewhere, call and check in on them every once in a while to make sure that people know that someone is thinking about them and caring about them so they can treat them much better in this system. It's very important when I hear that our people is the most vulnerable. African Americans are dying the most, and that's hard for me to hear that all the time. And I think we all should be aware of that. Take care of those older folks there. Call and check in on them. Call the administration. Ask about what they're going through so they know someone care about them. This is so important. So our parade is coming up in September. Hopefully we should be back on track with it. And we would like to salute all of our first responders. And that is those doctors, those nurses, those orderlies, those people that clean those facilities, and those transit workers and people that are carrying this city on. And majority of us are in this so-called minority community. So let's be mindful of it and pray for them and pray for their families as well. Thank you.
Okay, I thank you. That is a very important and powerful story. For those of you who are across the world, every year, I believe it's for the past almost 50 years, we have the African American Day Parade, which is amazing. It lasts for about 5 hours. We're going to cover it. Harlem Network News, trust me, we're covering the African American Day Parade this year. It's going to happen. Very, very significant, and just a show of unity, culture, and strength. And we do have to come together. And we're going to make sure that all of the people that are on this call and, you know, who can assist, that we come together with some form of a coalition so that we can work with Harlem. We are asking for our entrepreneurs, our venture capitalists, because we haven't even begun to talk about the devastation of the small businesses here in Harlem and what is going on, and the fact that a lot of people work for themselves. And, you know, so we got to make sure that everybody's okay. But I'm reaching out to those of you that are venture capitalists, or, you know, those of you that have means. Now is the time. You can use your funds and your resources and your skill sets to come in and let's rebuild this community. It is a time of reflection, but it's a time that it has happened and it's here, but it's a time that we can use it as a springboard for strength and recreation. And it's very appropriate on this day, on this Easter, this day of resurrection that we're on here, because it is about resurrection. That is what it's about. So thank you very much. Brother Ernest 2X. Is Brother Ernest here? He's another brother that's from Mosque number 7. I don't know. I see he's here, but if we can bring him on, we will. I don't see his sound. Maybe our tech person can help. So we're near. Yes, yes.
This is Noily.
Yes.
I just want to elaborate on the statement that he just made about our brothers and sisters might not be getting the care. I want us to be careful with that, because I don't see that in my working environment. I'm not saying it's not happening, but I don't see that in my working environment. And additionally, there might be some DNA there might be some DNA response to the virus, maybe why Blacks might be affected. I don't have all the data yet, so I don't want to elaborate on that. But there might be some DNA response in terms, like, for instance, there's certain group, when you treat them for high blood pressure, one group will get a set of medication because that works best for them, when another group will get another kind, called some blockers and things like that. I have to get that information together before I put it out there. But there are also some issues in terms of the DNA of the virus and how it affects us as a group or not.
So
yes, sorry.
So this is Dr. Michelle.
This is Dr. Michelle Alexander, and
yes,
she's going to address some of the health concerns.
I think that first of all, I just want to elaborate a little bit on that point that you made. So the coronavirus is a RNA virus. That means it's a microorganism that does not have its own DNA. And what the virus actually does is it hijacks the human cell. It enters that human cell and uses the cell's DNA in order to replicate itself and make thousands and thousands more viral particles. So depending on your genetic makeup, you may be more susceptible to the virus than other people. One of the things that we do know is that the virus attaches to the cell in a certain manner. Those spikes that it has on it that you see in all the pictures of the virus actually uses that attachment to enter the cell and transverses the cell in that way and interrupts the cell's ability to continue. So it destroys the cell. Your normal immune system, your white blood cells and the other immune cells in your body attacks the virus and can prevent that attachment to the cell. But in some cases, you may be more susceptible than other people. There's even some reports, and I've been reading quite a bit of information that certain blood types are more susceptible, the blood type A being more susceptible to the virus than other blood types. So there are many reasons why certain drugs will work in someone and not work in another, because everybody is individual, and your body's makeup is specific for you, and therefore you may have certain protections and or vulnerabilities depending upon what that makeup is. So in this case, this virus has behaved in a certain way. There's lots of study going on as to why that's occurring, but one of the things we do know is that any virus, some people may be more susceptible than others. One of the reasons why children, it's thought that children are not as susceptible, even though they may be exposed, is that their immune system is better at being able to recognize and get rid of the virus, and get rid of the virus in a way that doesn't destroy or cause further injury to your system. One of the things that that is reported, and this is some of the information that I've been reading, is that one of the reasons why people who are more elderly get a worse infection, meaning that it descends into the lungs, and then the lungs basically get destroyed. It causes fibrosis and scarring and pneumonia. One of the reasons that is that the body's immune system actually participates in some of that destruction of the lining of the cell of the lung. And so that's part of the reason why you're seeing the degree of damage to the lungs in people that are older. And that does not happen in younger children or children within a certain age range. As you get out of adolescence, that immunity changes, and that's why we're now, you see it above generally the age of 20, even for those people who are above, you know, we have basically the same infection rate for people above 20 than it is in the elderly. What you do see is that there's a differentiation in terms of the death rate, that people are more likely to recover without significant damage if you are a younger person. However, if you have other, what we say in the medical community, comorbidities, meaning that you have other interfering health conditions like diabetes, like asthma, like obesity, like heart disease, those diseases increases your risk for developing more severe cases and leading to a more bad outcome, hospitalizations, and even death. So I just wanted, and I also wanted to just comment on Brother Hassan's comment about calling the hospital. I think, and this is something that I've always said, it's one of the things that I always did if I had a family member in the hospital was to go to the hospital so that they could see me and know that I was there. Now we're not allowed to do that. I do think it's still important to let the hospital staff know that this person is cared and loved. So I think that reaching out is important. I don't know that that people are getting poor care. I do know that racism exists in America. And I know that Black people do not get the same care that people who are white get care. So I always want people to know that I have a family member that is cared and loved for, and making those calls just to say, I'm just checking on them just to make sure everything's okay, I think is very important.
And sister, I thank you for that, because that's my point. I've been there, I've seen it. And I've seen how people sit there, no one even go and visit them. No one, the doctors and nurses, sometimes they seem like they'll go to someone else. So in a few minutes, we're gonna find out that with this coronavirus, they're gonna be selecting some people to get more support than others with these ventilators. Now, who that might be, and I'm concerned about that. I've seen it happen already, and that's why I make that point. Not that I'm saying that the nurses and the doctors are not caring for everyone in the right way, but be mindful of our people as well, because we've always been on the lower end of getting the best care in this country. And that's not right, because we have sacrificed the most and in our lifetime. So thank you for being a point on that, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
I just agree. I agree. I just said that
We're going to have a few more comments, Dr. Michelle and Nurse Nali, and then I'm going to close us out. And we are going to come back next week at the same time and pray and bring on more community members, and we're going to keep this going. So Dr. Michelle, please.
Yeah, so there was just one more thing that I did want to talk about is people, you know, just because we are physically distancing ourselves, it doesn't necessarily mean that we're never leaving our home, because, you know, a little bit of vitamin D therapy is, I think, still important. So, you know, and there's been a lot of talk about what you need to do in terms of disinfecting yourself, your groceries, things that come into your house if you're getting deliveries and all those things. And so I've been doing a little bit of reading about some of that, and I just wanted to share some of that with you. So I will always tell you that the most dangerous thing is someone else, not necessarily your food, the boxes or other things that you may come in contact. It's really the way that the virus is basically transferred or transmitted is from a person to a person, although there is some definitive reports that there is definitely airborne spread of this virus. So that's one of the reasons why it's important, especially if you don't know whether or not you are negative in terms of the virus, that you wear a mask. That's one of the things that was being done in all of the Asian countries and most of Europe long before we did, is that people were wearing masks. And the mask was not really there in order to prevent you from getting the virus, because the virus does not work that way. The mask is there in order to prevent the person who may be asymptomatic, not know that they have the virus, from spreading the virus to others. So it's important that we have masks on so that if we are an asymptomatic person who could spread the virus, we're not spreading it to anyone else. So it's important, first of all, so then to avoid crowds and to shop quickly. I would recommend, if you do go shopping for your groceries, you don't go as a family, go alone, because you increase the potential of infecting not only yourself, but other people in your family once you go outdoors. So the few of you that do, the better off you are. I already said you should wear some type of face covering. If you don't have an N95 mask, which is the mask that actually prevents the respiratory droplets from entering, you should have some kind of face covering, a scarf, a surgical mask, something to cover your face. And there, if you go on YouTube, and I know that there are lots and lots and lots of recommendations on how you can make a pretty good mask online. The other thing is to make sure that you, if you do go shopping, that the things that you touch, like your cart and your hands, that you sanitize them, and if you can use a napkin or something to prevent you from touching the cart, that's a good thing. If not, sanitize the cart, carry some hand sanitizer, and you can sanitize the area that you're going to be touching. And then, although, a lot of people are wearing gloves, I would recommend, really, you should be washing your hands and washing your hands frequently. People that walk around with gloves seem to forget a lot of times that the same glove carries the same virus on your glove, and they can touch their hands and to their face and their mouth and their eyes. So it's very important to keep your hands away from your face. That's something I have a great deal of problem with. And that one of the other things that I say that's good about wearing a mask is that it kind of keeps your hands away from your nose and your mouth. So I generally do recommend that people skip the gloves, because the gloves give you a false sense of security, and people that end up wearing the gloves don't take the gloves off properly anyway. So when they're taking off the glove, you have to make sure that you're literally taking off the glove from the inside out and from the outside in, and that the outside of the glove does not touch you, or and that you're not flicking any of the virus that's there up into the air for you to breathe. So it's kind of key to pay attention to how you're taking the gloves off. And a lot of people don't know how to properly remove the gloves so that it stays safe. So I generally tell people, try to skip the gloves. It will remind you to keep your hands away from your face and your mouth and your eyes, and to wash your hands frequently. And then the other thing is to give the cashier some space. Make sure that you are properly distanced away from the cashier. If there's no face shield, or there's no shield between you and the cashier, you don't have to wipe off, everything, but it's kind of important, once again, this people-to-people transfer that you're trying to avoid. The other thing that you don't want to do is to touch things that other people touch frequently. So it's probably best to do a no-touch payment when you're trying to pay. And if you can't do a no-touch payment, use a tissue or something to touch the pad and then discard that tissue after you finish using it. And I would say, don't drive yourself crazy trying to disinfect your groceries, avoiding the things that you really need to eat, like the fresh fruits and vegetables, because I do not want you to use disinfectant or soap on your vegetables. You should be using some kind of, if you're going to use a vegetable cleaner, there's lots of vegetable cleaners that are safe and effective ways of cleaning your vegetables. But if not, water is generally a very good thing. And if you're just eating the vegetable, it's going down into your stomach, which has hydrochloric acid, which will kill the virus anyway. So I would not be overly concerned about that. And if you're eating something that you're going to heat, the virus is going to be killed anyway. So, anything that you cook or anything that's hot, I would tell you that's no problem at all with. And if you really want to wash, so the other thing is you should you, there's a question sometimes of whether or not you should shower and all that kind of thing. I think the most important thing is, according to most of the information I've read, the virus can stay up to a few days on metal or metal-like surfaces. So things like your phone are probably the most dangerous to you while you're out. So that's the thing that you should disinfect. Your keys should disinfect. And if you're coming in the house, make sure you clean the doorknob, the light switches, those type of things that you touch frequently, so that you're not transferring the virus. Take off your shoes, leave your shoes at the door. If we generally take off our shoes anyway, but if you're going to any fabric, they say that the virus lives on the surface of fabrics for several hours. So if you let it, just sit for several hours, it should be quite okay. And the other thing I will tell you is mentally, it's kind of important to keep your mental self intact, because a lot of people are getting anxious. I will tell you, the way that I keep myself from getting anxious is through prayer. Whatever you choose to do, if it's meditation, if it's talking to a good friend, if it's listening to music, dancing. By the way, you should be doing some kind of exercise. Sitting down for long periods of time is not good. So today I listened to all of my gospel. I was singing, and I can't sing. So, but I was calling him up, and I called him up, and I knew he was here. I had the presence of God in my house, so I have no fear. And I say, trust God. So.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Michelle. Thank you, everyone that was on the call. Nurse Nali. Thank you, Baba John. Thank you to the imams, and thank you, Sister Lois Gregory of the Learning Tree. Thank you, Ms. Joyce Adewume, who had to get off the call. But I just want to let you all know that we will be coming back to you next week at the same time. This is Harlem Network News. This is Terry Wisdom. We've had a resounding over 1,000 people on this call, and they're from everywhere.
Wonderful.
Overseas, everywhere. And we're going to get bigger, and we're going to get stronger, because this is how we will heal our whole world. I want to give a tribute to our technical director, who is across the water. So he's getting to understand who Harlem is and whose we are and all of that. Brother Ernest is here, Brother Ernest X, and he is a member of Mosque Number 7 and was close with Brother Hafiz. And we actually were working with Brother Ernest with our New Harlem Coffee. So I'm going to just let Brother Ernest say a few words, and then I'm going to pray us out. Okay, we're over time, but the things that were said were very important, and I hope people are taking notes and they will go back over and listen, because you have your professionals, your people giving you the guidance that you need to survive. So, Brother Ernest X, 2X, briefly, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Dear, right now, sister, can't say too much. I think everything was said, and I was just overwhelmed just to even get on the line.
Okay. Well,
Ma'am?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
We can see you. Okay. So the Brother Ernest 2X has worked closely with the mosque, and he's been working with us with our New Harlem coffee product, which we will share more about. So it's just been a close and collective relationship, and that is what Harlem is about, and that is what the Harlems of the world are about. So I just really want to pray us out, and I just want to say that we are grateful for our lives. And as I heard in my church service this morning from the Abyssinia Baptist Church, that every day is Resurrection Day. Every day that we wake up is the Resurrection Day. So I want to just give thanks for waking up this morning and being able to stand and do what I have to do. And I give thanks to my ancestors and those that have gone before us. I ask that God, and whatever name God is by, that all the enemies be removed, that they be removed around us and out of our way. We're not asking that they be harmed, but remove us. Let us be of good health. Let us be of good cheer. Let us be of sound mind. Let all those things happen. Let the ancestors light the way. God bless and keep our elders. God bless and keep our youth. God bless and keep ourselves, our grandchildren, our children, those of us that the children may not be near, or family members, if we don't know where they are. God bless and keep them safe. And I say that in all the names that God is known by, and Jesus, Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, Oludamare, the Great Spirit, On Pisa Menashe, Donade, Modukwe, Amen, hallelujah. This is Terry Wisdom from Harlem Network News. Reach out to us on Facebook, reach out to our website, reach out to our Instagram, Harlem Network News at gmail.com, 646-261-5397. This is a call to help. All across the country, all across the world, reach out if there are resources, in-kind services. Let's organize, because that is how we are going to save our community. Harlem lives. This is Harlem Network News. Thank you. And we will see you next week. Same time, same station. Watch. We will keep you updated. Blessings to all. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.